So yeah, do I think we can do this? Oh, most certainly. There's no question. Of course we can do this. Look, where I'm coming from is, look, we all kind of agree we need to have a revolution. Okay? Who's on board? All right? Well, if you're on board, we got to have some agreements, some basic agreements, right? Let's just start with, yeah, there probably are people who are taking advantage of us. Yep. That's probably a thing. Clearly, right? Who's not feeling like they're getting who? Anyhow, let's also agree that these politicians, media, are fucking with us, right? I mean, at the end of the day, they are fucking with us, right? So, question is, do we want them to continue to do this, to play us like this, right? Lying about everything, being deceptive, right? So what are we gonna do about it? Because if we don't do something, it kind of means we're big chumps. That's kind of what it means. Big, pussies. What can I say? If you're gonna let these people keep screwing us like this. So if you understand where I'm coming from, then let's start this revolution. Okay. So just some general rules, right? The guiding principle has to be, now I know I'm gonna lose a lot of you on this, and that's okay, because this is critical, all right? Without this, we don't have a chance. Okay, what am I talking about? I'm talking about what's known as universal principles, universal laws, okay? And in these universal laws, it's some basic stuff that everybody understands. Number one, if you want to go from point A to point B, you have to work to make that happen. Universal shit, right? Look, as far as I can tell right now, from what I can see, I don't know what people want, right? We don't have a guiding principle. We talk about this religion and stuff. Look, universal law. One of the universal parts of this is extremely important, is who we are as spirits. Okay? This stuff is real. Okay? All that stuff in religion they talk about with the spirits and all that's just real. And this has a lot to do with what the hell's going on. I think a lot of people understand that, right? Basically, it doesn't have to be called a religion. We can all agree on this basic stuff. So, universal law says if you agree to letting your ass be abused like this, then you kind of deserve it. Because it's on you. You didn't have to choose to let yourself get screwed over, but you did. So you gotta take responsibility. We got all our power. It's up to us to decide what we're gonna do with it. That's it. That's like universal principles that make movies about all that stuff. The Matrix, right? A or B, or red pill, blue pill. Some people have taken the red pill, and you learn some stuff, and it's kind of wild. You know that we're being messed with. You may not know all the details. You don't need to know all the details, because at the end of the day, you know a lot of that stuff you hear about is probably true. 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of people just got that lesson. Just like 9/11 woke people up. You know what I'm talking about. Woke a lot of people up, right? This is the Great Awakening. We're all learning about all the lies we've been told. And they are working overtime to make sure you stay uninformed, okay? That's what they're doing. This ain't no conspiracy theory. You can look at it right in front of your face. You following me? Who's on board? You on board? Okay, basic stuff. Have I said anything crazy? No. But you see what I'm doing here? I'm getting us aligned. There's a lot of us out here that know all this. A whole bunch, millions. We all know this. The Great Awakening is happening. Okay. So, awakening has to do with knowledge, right? And that has another counterpart in terms of power, right? Because what do we say? Power is knowledge. The other part of this equation is love. Can I get a witness? L-O-V, love. Love from the heart, knowledge, and the mind. You gotta understand, people. Your heart vibrations and your mind vibrations are like the engine generators into this interdimensional. Okay? And this is science, actually. You don't know about it, look it up. But it's a big study. It's worthwhile looking into. Why? Because that's a part of yourself that you need to understand and know about. I'm not religious, but some a guy related to a religion, he apparently talked a lot about, you know, there's a world within us, okay, and this is what this relates to. This is why understanding love and what that is. Love is God, right? I think that's what a lot of people say. I agree. It is. Love is God. So if you want power, you gotta have knowledge and love. Now let's break it down. Ready? What's the opposite of knowledge? Yep, you said it, ignorance. That's okay. A lot of us are ignorant. We gotta come face to face with the fact that we are kind of ignorant. We have no idea what's going on. How could we? Right? There's a problem with that though. Because they're always lying to us and our schools suck. They don't tell us stuff we should know. And you know this if you have taken the initiative to increase your power. So there's people that want to know, and there's people that don't care, right? And each of those things is a choice. Neither one is better than the other. There's consequences for each one. Like once you start to know stuff, you know, you want to tell people. You want to share some stuff with people. Most people don't want to hear about anything. They just want to go with the program, right? Well, you know, it's a choice. But by increasing your knowledge about generally how the world works, we're talking about, I mean, you can talk about a different skill, but it is important to understand how the world works. Why? Because if we don't, what are we, just a bunch of fucking idiots running around being taken advantage of? No. If you want what you say you want, you gotta work for it, okay? Now, there's a lot of people out here working for that knowledge, trying to share some things. That's really important. So what they do is they throw the shame technique out. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, you must be crazy. Man, these guys are good, I'll be honest with you, and that has gotten a lot of people. I've been called that before. You know, I'm like, all right, sure, conspiracy theorist. Have you looked at any of the material we're talking about? No, it's just wrong. Man, get out of here. You don't even know what you're talking about. haven't even looked at anything. Anyhow, there's so much, like once you get off of the farm, once you get out off the farm and you see, whoa, like you realize it's like a psychological thing to keep you in a little box. I guess that's a hole, right? But you know what I mean? Keep you in that box. And once you start to get out of it, you know, you got people who want to be in the box. They don't like to see people leaving the box. You're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist. Man, it's a big world out there, man. There's a whole lot going on. And hopefully soon, this is what's going on. The age of disclosure, right? So I love it. I think watching people learn about a whole bunch of stuff is really going to help us make it through the next 10 years to get to where we got to be. There's a war going on. It's us against them. The more we get more directed towards who our real enemy is, the better chance we will have of making it so we can change the world to work for the benefit of humanity. Does that make sense? That's what this is actually all about. Anyhow, so I think y'all understand where I'm coming from, right? So if we're all about this, then let's apply natural law and look at who our enemy is and what tactics they're using. This is very basic stuff, right? It's called their methods, right? Big part of that method is psychological. And they got it down pretty good, man. Like, they got it down pretty good. I'll be honest with you. I'm impressed. And, you know, there's a lot of literature about this that you can go look up. Like I mentioned Matthias Desmet before. Go check him out. But this is a game. You know, they've played this game before. Different countries, China, Russia, Germany. It's all orchestrated by the same basic people in the background. They're like, okay, let's psych these people out. Let's run that game plan. It basically means what you do is you actually keep some people oppressed and aggrieved, right? You do that intentionally, and you get them pissed off. Keep them pissed off and poor, right? That's what everybody does. This is what everybody does. And you need to have that because you know you got something coming up down the line where you're going to take advantage of all this energy and manipulate it in a way that benefits you. Old ass game. But if you don't know the game, how you gonna know? See what I'm saying? If you understand how the world works, you're gonna be more immune to this type of rich man manipulation. Fair? Am I talking crazy? Of course not. Basic shit, right? Of course it's basic shit. So we gotta up our game, man. It's really up to us, right? Ain't no government gonna do shit for you. Your government ain't gonna do shit for you. Period. End of story. So we gotta do it. We have to be united. There is no room for division. There's zero tolerance for division. And this Democrat, liberal bullshit. It's all bullshit. Look. All right, I didn't want to get into it. Let me tell y'all a secret, right? Some of y'all understand this, and some of you won't, but hey, I'm just telling it like it is. I didn't make this up. Anyhow, there's this concept called dualities, right? And some dualities, whether it be like law of ignorance, or, I'm sorry, knowledge, ignorance, or love, unity, and division. These are dualities. Check this out. The expression of a conservative is male. And the expression of a liberal is female. This is right. Think about that. And think about the ways that this makes so much sense. Can't believe you didn't see it. It's right in front of you the whole time. You know, in Romance languages, you notice how nouns have gender. You know, el, la, male, female. El, baroko. You get what I'm saying. Male, female, right? And that's because when you speak, you want to have male and female balance in your language because of some stuff, right? When you have a male and a female energy together, they create. Okay? That's the whole thing. The reason why it's always so important for these people to do this is because they know that they can't have that. Because if liberals and conservatives understand how important it is for them to love each other and work together, you know, that's a power that gets into like what our actual power is. Is loving each other. It's a big deal. It ain't no shit to play with, okay? It's a huge deal. Love? Are you kidding me? Come on. And there's so much love out there already, right? It's already right there. Every time I go outside, you know, I'm like, wow, look at this love. Everybody loving each other, working together, you know, being generally nice together. We love each other. We love each other hard. Americans really love each other a lot. But let me tell you, these media people, man, they just constantly throwing shit at you. Constantly throwing shit at us. So we have a bad image of ourselves. And we just hear about all this fighting in the media. This person hates speech, bad person. You know, all that shit, man, is crazy. This whole thing with the media talking about racism constantly, like, that's a game. That is a game to fuck with you. Period. End of story. As far as I'm concerned, these people are actual terrorists. They are the actual terrorists. I can see them terrorizing everybody, watching it right in front of my eyes. They got everybody fucking freaked out. Ah! Yeah, the media is the actual terrorists. Now, you can have an organization who's responsible for actually telling the truth. That wouldn't be too hard. I can run that shit. But it wouldn't be like this. It'd basically be like crowdsourced stuff based on what people actually want to know, you know? But you'd have to like tamp down certain governmental organizations working behind the background to make sure you don't know certain shit. Those motherfuckers, you don't fuck with them. It will take you out. It is extremely important for them to make sure they got control of your mind. Because whether or not you know it, all the spiritual shit I'm talking about, you don't understand. For them to have control of your mind is the big nut in the world. The control of masses of minds. That is the biggest nut. And they pay for that. They got it down to a T, how they control your ass. They got a system. They got a system. They've been using it in other countries, and now they pointed it at us, Americans. That's what they did. This mind manipulation. Do you know that they got, I'm pretty sure about this, correct me if I'm wrong, look it up. They got patents on how to fuck with people and do this shit. For real. There's a whole legal framework being worked out. This is how important this is. You didn't know that, did you? Go look it up. Call me out on it. But yup, it's true. So what I'm trying to get you directed at, folks, is what's keeping us from being where we gotta be, and that's making the choice to give our power away to these people who are gonna keep us in this constant state of fear, opposite of love, and ignorance, opposite of knowledge. That's their whole job. That's the way they suck our power out from us. Those two things, heart and mind. You understand? You understand? All right. So with that said, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm the commander here, which let's say, okay, yeah. If I'm going to say what the number one thing you got to do today, all right, this is natural law. This isn't, I understand it seems like it's my opinion, but it's really not my opinion. This is just how it works. I didn't make it up. But the liberals and the conservatives need to make up right now, tell each other you love each other. It's job one. Maybe it's job two. Well, you get what I'm saying. Bringing the love in, I'm serious. You guys cannot underestimate the power of love. I hear y'all talking smack about love, but I don't know if you really understand. But it actually is the way to tap into how to make it supposed to be the way it's supposed to be. And that means us taking responsibility. Us choosing the red pill. And look. Not everybody gonna choose the red pill. And people who wanna stay in the blue pill, people who wanna believe in media or whatever, let them be. You don't lead by example, right? We not argue about these dumb things like whether or not it's a genocide. I mean, what you gotta do is step back and say, oh, I see, these people are crazy. And I'm gonna be very specific about that. I mean, narcissistic personality disorder. It's a version of evil, right? It really is. They're not worth arguing with. They just suck your energy. That's their whole job. That's why the media does that. They know that people are going, and they're just sucking all of that energy that people want. I think we did it. Like, perfect example. And I think they did a good job too. Perfect example is when they had that little boy up on stage who was like an honorary police officer being praised by the Trump administration, right? And it had Democrats sitting there, I'm not going to clap. I was like, it upset me not because they didn't fucking clap, please. It upset me because it's not even an opinion, all right? Well, you know this or not, I'm gonna say, we don't argue about this, but that whole thing is a psyop. It just is. The whole purpose of it is to do more division. Those people, they don't have even a say. If they want to sit there and play that game, they gotta do what they're told. Which, they're all fake. They're all taking orders from their billionaire donors who control them. And people think it's real. The whole thing is like almost staged. It really is theater. It's not even really worth paying attention to. The only thing to be paying attention to right now is for the Democrats and Republicans to commit to making up. It's the only way. And all right, so we're gonna have fun with this. So I'm not gonna get into it now, but I'm talking about stuff we can actually do to start this. This is the real revolution. Do you hear what I'm telling you? This is the real revolution. You understand?